Yes, y'all. Welcome in to episode 121 of the Dumb Marks podcast. It's your boys, your favorite Saturday brunch bunch, back at it in full effect. Gentlemen, how we living? How we doing?
Doing good. How's everybody doing?
Doing well.
Right, ready to rock out. Hell of a show planned for you guys today. Actually, that's a complete lie. One of these dumb marks sitting on this screen in front of you had 2 weeks to prepare for this show and literally did not do any prep at all. So I leave you guys to guess which one it is, unless he wants to out himself right now. But I mean,
how we do things on this show.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm still used to the old format. This is my first time in the new format.
there we go. Right off the bat.
This is my new time in the first format. And so
what's up, Nate? What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for rocking with us as always. Pause. Hit us up, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. Interact. Let us know. Comment, like, share. We appreciate all the love. Ready to run through. Like we might just consolidate. Taquan, he wears that.
This is my only planning. This is my only planning. Sorry.
He wears that to bed every night and rubs her cheek as he slowly says, "Sing to me" before he falls asleep.
It's not
yelling right there.
Oh God. We're not. This isn't an Adele show, so we're going to get off of that real quick. Anything to bring up before we get into bell to bell? Give the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling for the week. As you know, we recapped the week that was, who we thought stood out the best from a performance standpoint, in ring, backstage, promo wise, and give you who we feel should be on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling for the week that was. So anything else to get into before we hop into that?
Anybody else think it felt weird last week not being on Saturday?
Yeah.
It feels like we were off a week even though we did the night before.
Yeah, we decided to go live Friday night, do the Royal Rumble prediction show. Shout out to everybody that tuned in for that. Thanks to our guests that hopped on, as always. Pro, Kenny from the Call Up, Mars. We appreciate you for hopping on and chopping it up with us. Yeah, man. Sometimes scheduling gets in the way. Stuff comes up. My daughter turned 13 last weekend, so I was obviously not going to be able to get on Saturday at all, doing running around in that. So it was a nice time. She had a good time. Can't believe she's 13 years old already. It's ridiculous how fast it went by, but so we're good. We're back at normal time slot. The brunch bunch is back.
Show back for me because I forgot.
I was getting ready this morning. I was like, it feels like we've been off for 2 weeks, even though we did a show on Friday instead of Saturday last week. It still feels like we were off.
Donald, is that from the Tiger Woods hoodie Nike collection you got going on there? Like, what are we doing?
It's just a Zodiac. Whatever.
Okay. Zebra representing the black and white theme of the show. I like that. Good to go, Chris. You're still pumping this Bucky Beaver bullshit.
Absolutely.
I still ain't getting no food or no jerky or anything.
Yeah, no sponsorship. We haven't got a paid ad. We got nothing. Like, you need to start hustling a little harder if you're going to continue to wear that damn beaver on this show.
Okay. Got to keep it consistent. Every week, little by little. Whenever we get free Adele tickets out of Jason, hey,
that's not going to happen. So, I mean, speaking of concert tickets, you see people selling basically their souls to get ready for Beyonce tickets that ain't even go on sale yet.
True story, Nate. True story.
Beyonce
I all that stuff with Congress this weekend. Just like, those people are ridiculous.
Yeah. So I will say, hey, shout out to the hustlers that are out there creating memes for their individual small businesses. I saw a realtor put up a meme of himself saying, "Hey, you need to sell or buy. You need to flip that house to buy Beyonce tickets. Call your boy at," and they put his number up. Like, I'm not gonna knock the hustle, bro. Like, go ahead and handle your business.
What are they going for? I haven't seen prices.
They haven't even been. They haven't posted yet.
Okay.
It's just because I guess the way Taylor Swift tickets went through the roof, that people are just automatically assuming Beyonce's are going to be.
I'm sure they will be.
So I'm surprised she's coming to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally we don't get that type of act here, but all right, enough with that. Let's hop into it. Week that was coming off of way to slide that in. Damn, this show sucks. It's unbelievable. Fozzy tickets are still good price. Yeah. So week that was coming off of Royal Rumble, we're officially on the road to WrestleMania. We're not going to deep dive into the show itself. More Beyonce talk, yeah, no doubt, Mars.
You got to tune in for Down in the Den for that.
I will gladly come on and talk Beyonce all day long. So
hard pass.
Yeah, of course. We know, Jay. We know. So officially on the road to WrestleMania. We won't go deep diving into the show. I'm sure things will come up as we present our Mount Rushmores for the week. But overall, what you guys think of the pay-per-view? 4.5, almost 5 hours too long for you guys? Or, considering we had 5 matches on the card?
Could have kept that Hardy performance.
Yeah, that performance.
Hey, that Hardy performance was straight trash.
Definitely.
If you believe the rumor and innuendo, WWE wasn't very happy with that performance either.
What happens when you order Kid Rock off of Wish?
But they're still pushing the song. I'd have been like, you know what, you're done. I'm not playing this next week or the week after.
Why was the performance necessary? All right, well, the worst Hardy. Right up until the ending, but wait, pause. Does this mean you like storytelling now? The ending, the story, the Oscar-worthy performance.
Ciao Rock.
Ciao Rock. That's great. Haven't seen that anywhere on Twitter. Nice. All right, so who's first?
Over there? Come on.
Who wants to kick off Mount Rushmore this week? And we can weave in and out based on who we nominate. Anybody else in the comments? Throw up who you thought won the week.
I'll go ahead and go. I'll throw out the producers of the women's match, the women's Royal Rumble.
Okay.
They outshined the men's. The men's was horrible. I didn't care about the Rumble until the women's match and then the main event.
We got a producer shout out. Now, do we know, was TJ Wilson involved in this year's Women's Royal Rumble like he has been in the past?
He was.
I saw him backstage in pictures, but I don't know if he was involved in any capacity or not.
I forget who all was. I saw the list of all the producers for it, but I don't remember all of them. But I did see TJ. He was number one. So,
I mean, I don't think there's been a Women's Royal Rumble that I have not liked, and he's produced pretty much all of them since they started, right? Like he's been that one main consistent factor each year when it comes Rumble time. As far as the match itself, I got no. That's not a bad nomination for my Rushmore of the week because there were a lot of things established in that Women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So,
other than like some wonky spots. It was good wrestling, good storytelling, and they wrestled through the timer and they kept going. Not like the men standing there waiting for a spot. The men stopped like 10 seconds before the countdown. You get that.
The wait to come in.
Yeah.
We'll get on that.
Did Rhea coming out at number 1, did that go, okay, she's going wire to wire and winning it all?
Yeah.
Like, did that give away the ending for you?
Yeah.
The fact that Liv wanted to win.
No matter what spot she came out in, she knows she was going to be the winner.
Yeah, I mean, prediction show wise, it was pretty much unanimous. Everybody was picking Rhea based on the year that she had.
That was the nice feature of that men's Rumble. That was part one of the few highlights.
We can get into that too.
Yeah,
because there's a question I want to pose on that. Yeah, Michelle McCool wrestling. Hey, listen, I like the surprise of that.
No, she is.
Was she needed? No, but I do like the uniqueness of it. right? Like you're sitting there watching it, you hear your music play, you hop out, you get in the ring, you wrestle on some Uggs, you do some stuff, get in, get out. Like it was different. It was something that was different for an entrant that I don't think we've seen. What? Ever, maybe. I don't know. When's the last time somebody that was sitting in the crowd got called into a Rumble?
Not the crowd, but they did the announcers that one year, like Booker T and I think like where they were wrestled in, they went in their suits and everything.
And she
I mean, look, we're on year what 30 plus of the Rumble. Like,
it was 36.
You got to come up with something that hasn't been done before. And I thought that was a nice little unique twist to get an entrant into the Rumble, and she looked good in there. She didn't look out of place or anything. So like,
good point,
I'm not gonna.
First time a heel did that.
The producers were T.J. Wilson, Molly Holly, Petey Williams, and Jason Jordan.
Wow! Shout out to those four.
Yeah, that's a good crew.
Jason Jordan did both, men's and women's.
Okay. There were parts of both that I really liked and really enjoyed.
It's coming. wait for her Hall of Fame video.
Either that or wait for the SummerSlam match sponsored by Uggs.
Morris said, "Get it right." Jason Angle.
Yeah, Jason Angle. I forgot all about that. Yeah, but no, I mean, listen. Anytime you get Molly Holly involved in something, she's produced quite a few matches recently. Her mind for the business is one of the best out there. I'm all for that. And we know what TJ's done, his track record as far as producing goes. Petey Williams, I think Petey Williams has been a standout since he came into that role with the company. So and Jason Angle, Jason Jordan, he's been there since his neck injury. So like
got experience under him.
They had a really good feel, really good layout.
And they had NXT women in there, and they shined.
Yeah, they did.
Even though, like Roxanne, her time was really brief, but that was by design. So you don't want to overexpose her, but get her out there in Texas. You know what I mean? Hometown.
Yeah, that was perfect place for a pop. To get her over.
Right. I thought Jay, your girl Zoe Stark, she handled herself very well. And Shawn Michaels was on Busted Open this week talking to Bully Ray and LaGreca and them, and he said, "Listen, it's not a matter of when, or it's not a matter of what if, it's a matter of when with her." So like they are very high on her.
She just needs to develop a personality. She'll be gold.
That's it. She's lacking that other aspect, man. She's definitely lacking that. And that's why I think I can't get into her. Like I just can't. I don't know. She hasn't found that niche yet that makes her stand out from a character standpoint.
I don't know who's doing promos down there these days, down NXT.
I thought I heard Sean was doing it, but I could be wrong.
Was Smiley doing promos?
I really don't know.
He's still down there.
Yeah,
Smiley's still there. I know Sean was doing like the finishing school for finishing class. And I believe he was doing promos for a while. I don't know if that's still the case. But we'll see. I mean, she's evolved. She's definitely, I'm hoping the heel turn that she's had recently will help maybe get her to find her groove with it. But yeah, I mean,
quite a few.
I can't argue that.
Sometimes it just takes, you need that, you get the experience, and it just works itself out.
Yeah.
You can see what it turned Mandy into.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did, for me, the Rumble in recent years is not so much, when I'm watching a Rumble, I'm not so much like looking for the winner. I'm looking for who they think is going to be there a year out, right? And we saw whenever it was Rhea and Bianca won, it was like, okay, you can see Rhea's going to be that next one, right? And fast forward a year and a half later, and she's in that spot, right? Yeah. The men's side, Gunther freaking 5-star performance there. Like that dude is unbelievable. Tremendous.
That's my Mount Rushmore.
I was gonna say who got Gunther because
it is my Mount. Yeah.
You know, him coming in at 1, starting off with Sheamus, like, and what them two did at Clash at the Castle, you knew they were going to beat the shit out of each other for 2 minutes, or 90 seconds, and then he never felt lost. Like sometimes you get guys that are in there for a long time, they like fade into the background. You don't really notice them that much during the Rumble match just because of how many people come in and out. To me, he stood out from the time he entered until the time he was eliminated, which, like I said, kudos to him. Unbelievable performance.
Mm-hmm. That was a good thing. No, not even trying to make fun of it, but that was a good record to beat.
Yeah.
They had done that Greatest Royal Rumble a couple years ago, and I think Daniel Bryan got it from that. And so it's kind of nice to see Gunther, and like you said, Steve, someone that you can tell they're putting on a path towards the future.
Yeah, especially a big man going the distance like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And all of his spots were good. Pick the spots, everything for him. His time rest when it was time to go back again. It was just everything about it was good.
And he's the ring general that he says he is. He knows what he's doing in there.
And he took the worst of that stupid guitar.
Yeah.
And
there's few people that know they know their place in that ring all the time. Like if to do a move, whatever, they can bounce around on the ropes, they can be on the mat and know their place in there. And he's one of those people.
Yeah, you saw that a little bit with who was it? I think it was Chad Gable and Santos and Escobar. They got in and they were like, you could tell either one of them was off or the other one was off or not sure which way to go, and like it just looked wonky and off. Every time Gunther was there on my screen, he was doing something impactful or meaningful during that match. And the teases they gave you for potential opponents in the future. Obviously, the face-off with Brock, yes. Sami up, check. You had the finish with Cody, rematch, absolutely. Sami up, check. Like, there were people that they put in front of him that was like, okay, yes, 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 and yes, right? Like,
you could easily put Gunther and Cody after Mania at some point.
Yeah. Now, he's a little, I think a little over, a little under 200 days off the record of having the longest reign for an IC champ.
Yeah.
Would you leave the belt on him to break that record?
I think he's going to get up there. I don't know if he's going to break the record though. I don't think you talk Nance like at 400 some. Yeah.
They will give you story. They're not just going to announce the match. This is an AEW Rampage. We're going to get into the story. Listen, I've been stacking bullets. So, Pro, anytime you want to have that debate, I got bullets in the chamber ready to shoot. Like, I'm coming. Like, I sent a little teaser over there with, connect with the audience, not the super kick that Bully Ray put out. Like, I got some stuff for you that's going to be like, oh, yeah, well, I was completely wrong. And that's what I want to hear. Pro say, I was completely wrong on his take.
Not going to happen.
So, yeah, Steve doesn't need to hear he's right. Please bring some heat to him. Please bring some heat to him.
I agree with you, Mar. Sheamus needs it next.
What, the IC title?
Yeah.
No, he don't.
No.
He might be the one to stay off.
No, don't. Come on now. We belt collecting now. We just get numbers just to get numbers.
No, belt collectors hold multiple titles.
We just we stacking stats now. That's all what we're doing. Garbage time. Here you get a title.
That's sports. That's sports.
No, he don't need it. What Sheamus is doing right now is what Sheamus is good at doing.
What do you think the new nickname is going to be for him and Drew? Since Banger Bros is off the board because somebody at WWE finally Googled it.
See, the first week that they said that, everybody was just like, WWE's cool with it. They know what it means. They're cool with it. And then 3 weeks later, it's like, no, they never Googled it. It's just like, come on, people. Like, I'm sure someone there knew what it meant.
All the old guys know what it means.
Yeah.
If somebody knows fan time, they know.
That's a good point. Vince knew.
I was gonna say Vince was the founder. Like, what are we talking about? All right, so we got the producers for the Women's Rumble. We got Gunther from Donald for Mount Rushmore.
We already talked about her, but I got Rhea. That was mine. Tell you, we kind of went over everything, but her coming in at number 1, dominating through that whole thing, and finishing off. I mean, Steve, you had said, with her and Bianca, it's like they even tried to push Rhea a little bit even before that, and it's like I thought we would have been here sooner, but at least we're here.
Mm-hmm.
At least she's finally going to get that real spot, and I expected Rhea before Bianca, but I think this whole Judgment Days helped her out, get connected with the fans more. I'm really cool with Rhea's spot on here, and it's not the match I want.
Yeah,
let's get into that.
Yeah, she said on Monday that she went after Charlotte. I mean, we all said what was that in December? Whenever you got that Bianca and Rhea stare off in the back, and just like kind of foreshadowing what was to come. Mm-hmm. And it's like that would have been much more entertaining, but maybe they're going to move Rhea to SmackDown and be the face there instead of being on Raw.
So MamiMania is a very nice tagline for this road to WrestleMania.
That's going to sell some merch.
Oh, absolutely. MamiMania on a t-shirt, slap it, I'll order it tomorrow.
Cody said in the press conference afterwards, I apologize for all the merch that's going to be coming. Don't let it discourage you. It's that time of year. They're just going to be pumping it out, and they're going to do it for Rhea too.
Yeah. We'll put a pin in merch sales, because I saw something last night that was very interesting from a foreshadowing standpoint, if you caught it and were paying attention to it on SmackDown. But yeah, everybody wants. Well, at least everybody that I saw wants the Rhea Bianca matchup.
They got time,
but the justifications that she gave when she picked Charlotte makes me go, okay, I'm sold. It's the history. It's where she came up, when she came up, how she came up, who the supposed standard bearer is in the women's division. Taking her WrestleMania moment back in the pandemic Thunderdome, empty seat arena mania. Like,
is that storyline?
Right, cash in your chips. That would be storyline, right?
That's what I thought, yeah.
Okay.
Connecting the dots.
And that's almost long-term story too.
Almost. Right. So I'm not mad at that. And the reason going into Monday night, if they were going to do the announcement, I was okay with her picking either woman. And the reason why I was okay with picking her with either woman is because of what I saw in the Rumble on Saturday that has me excited as far as an opponent for Bianca for Mania. Who made a return long-term these nuts? Yeah. That's a great shirt too. Hashtag put it on a t-shirt. Long-term these nuts. Who made a return in the Women's Royal Rumble on Saturday night that got the internet all up in a buzz based off of her appearance when she returned?
Number 30.
Nope.
I think you're thinking Asuka, but
yes. Asuka coming out the way she came out, and the ruthless, the woman that struck fear around the world in pro wrestling character presentation version of Kana, Asuka. Sign me up for her and Bianca. I saw her when she unveiled the face paint. I'm like, okay,
this is it.
Yeah, let Rhea pick whoever she wants. Either way, right? But that version of Asuka needs to be against the other champion at Mania.
They have her, I think, for the Elimination Chamber for like the women's picture. They have Asuka dead center right now. And her new get up and everything. It's just like that's what they're going to promote.
This is the Asuka that we saw when she first came to NXT.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Asuka that was in Japan. This is the Asuka that we were praying for on the main roster, but because she's a foreigner, a certain somebody in charge had to do what he normally does with anybody that's not born in the United States. Triple H knows what to do with Asuka. And that presentation on Saturday night, I'm ready. Let me hitch my bandwagon now. I'm hopping on board. Let's run with it. Give me Bianca and that version of Asuka at Mania. I don't want to see nobody else. I don't need Bayley. I don't need Becky. I don't need Ronda. I don't need Shayna. Run through the list. No. Give me Asuka and Bianca and Rhea and Charlotte. And both of those matches have potential to still show at Mania.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But you're not going to get it.
No. There's too many other names that they need to put somewhere. So it's like unless they do some other women's matches on the card, you might get a fatal 4-way match out of Bianca or something.
Don't need that though.
You don't.
No.
But why can't you have more than two? Why you have 2 nights of WrestleMania? Why can't you have more than 2 matches?
We'll see.
I figured this.
And even with it being 2 nights, this goes back to the conversation we had after last year's WrestleMania. Not everybody needs to be on the card.
I was just about to say it's WrestleMania. Just got to get your spot.
Hey, listen. The Chelsea Green Karen character is going to get over.
I'm liking it.
Okay? It's going to get over. Like, she's going to work that thing like nobody's business. And starting out with her being eliminated within 5 seconds of the Royal Rumble was picture perfect. I thought that was tremendous.
I thought Monday was a good start to it.
Yeah.
Her stuff with Pierce. I enjoyed that. Are you the manager?
Great. Tremendous stuff. Yeah, but those that's how I would line up the championship matches. Obviously, Rhea and Charlotte's locked in, but give me Asuka versus Bianca.
And hopefully main event night 1.
Now, here's the question, and we'll see how this tends to play out, but based on how they've booked this week, I don't see Roman pulling double duty at WrestleMania.
It doesn't look like that.
Not at all.
So if he's not pulling double duty, do you have Charlotte and Rhea main event night 1, and then Roman Cody night 2?
I'd have a woman main event night 1.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Can you Rhea's character now, and we know they're pushing Charlotte as a babyface. Will it help convince you more to see Charlotte as a babyface going into this match? Because I still don't get babyface from Charlotte Flair. Even last night, like I still can't buy it. So how did they get me to sympathize with Charlotte for this match?
They need to give you, even if she is a babyface, they need to give you more edge from Charlotte. She needs to. I'm not even trying to say play the fence on here, but just be a little bit more edgy. But if they're gonna make her babyface, because it does. That's what works for her, not just being happy to be here.
I was sitting here wondering why Sonya, but then looking at it, Sonya's like the perfect person because she's the perfect heel.
That's what she said. Pause. But after Sonya, who else do they have?
Not
to put Charlotte in that babyface.
Not anybody that hates
likeness, like
unless you keep on stretching out Sonya, which they don't need to do, but
have her face Ronda, and then everybody gets booed.
Well, she would definitely be the baby face against Ronda.
Mm-hmm.
Like Charlotte, if you're going to have her be the babyface champion that just goes out there and has very high quality matches and wrestles, like a babyface and wins that way, I could maybe buy into it a little bit more. But anytime I hear her on the microphone, no matter what she says, I'm instantly thinking heel.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what she's been for so long.
I mean, Sami's a pretty great babyface, and they built him up.
You're right, Mars. She's a natural heel.
But I don't want MamiMania taking over.
It will. If the fans wanted to, they will take.
I wanted to take over, but I don't want it to be like her changing like subtly changing her character. Like stay heel, do heel things, but I don't want it to be like a space where you're playing the fence.
I don't think MamiMania will turn into like Kofi Mania.
No, but I think
like how the crowd is just going bananas for Sami right now. Like I don't think you'll get to that point going into it.
I don't know. Like when we went to Dallas, like the New Day was the it thing all weekend. It's like sometimes you just never know until that weekend it gets there. Like what's gonna be the thing? Because like I wouldn't have expected New Day to be the talk that whole weekend.
And it's gonna be legit wrestling fans, so you know what they want.
Yeah,
they want Rhea. We want Rhea.
Bianca.
Dave put this one. Dave, are you saying that Bianca acts more like a heel? Because I don't.
Her last match felt like she was putting on heel moves, but you're just saying like she's the same character, heel and face. It's just.
This guy.
See, I don't. Yeah, Dave said. Yeah, I don't think Bianca acts like a heel.
No, I don't think she acts like.
I don't get heel from her at all.
Mm-mm.
I get happy to be there all the time from her.
I think there's certain when she's opposite certain individuals, back in NXT when she was doing the girl like when she's standing across certain individuals, the tone changes.
She does.
So like when she was in the ring with Charlotte a couple weeks ago on Raw, like you got that tone out of Bianca to make it seem like she was more of a heel, but anybody else
personality, like her attitude.
Yeah, that's her natural personality. It's her natural personality.
That doesn't say heel to me. But
and you're thinking like the braggadocious nature. I'm the best, quickest, best at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. No, to me that's not heel. I mean, I think I can see why some people would think that would be heel. Yeah. I think I can get your point on that, Dave. But to me, she still doesn't do anything else that says heel. Not the time, Dave. Not the time. Anybody want to get into that?
Well,
what we saw last night.
Unless somebody has it for their jabroni of the week, we can.
It's not on mine, but
no, not on mine.
I don't see the issue.
So for those of you that aren't aware of it, WWE merch, because we're on the road to WrestleMania and they're pumping it out, they put out an EST hat that has Bianca's braid hanging out the top or back of it during Black History Month. Not really the best kind of look. It's kind of like the Miami Police Department that, pulled the curtain off the police SUV that's just adorned in, Black History Month decals. Just don't get the optic of it. Like why now? Why put it out there now?
But it's the Mania merch. It's the Mania merch.
But you had how many years that you had 2 past WrestleManias to do that Mania merch? Now, February 2nd, you're dropping that Mania merch, and it's just, I don't know, it just didn't look right. Like it came off as being tone deaf. Like
I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, you would. You're gonna wear that hat with that shirt and get beat up as soon as you walk out of your house.
Not if a deer doesn't attack him first.
I wouldn't say upset. It's more of know the room. Just know the room. That's all. Just know the room. There's a right time and place for everything. Just know the room. I'm not putting that one up there. Yeah, upset's not the right word, Dave. I just know the room. Check the temperature and make sure that, like, all right.
I kind of want to see it now, Taekwon.
He comes out with the Hakeem, the American Dream.
That's exactly what I was thinking. But polka dotted?
Absolutely polka dotted. Absolutely. Yeah. So, for me, Mount Rushmore wise, this is gonna be a shocker, but I go WWE as a whole.
As a whole.
As a whole.
They're hitting on everything.
All right.
As a whole. And let me just go into this for a little bit so you can have some context, right?
This is where Dave logs off.
This is exactly where Dave logs off. And not saying that there weren't other things that I liked from pro wrestling this week, because there absolutely were. But I just think that based on the week that was, they nailed everything. If my internet would work so I could get my stuff up that I saved. But highest grossing Royal Rumble event ever. Most merch bought at a Royal Rumble. Viewership up over 50% from last year's Royal Rumble. Pre-sale tickets for Mania up. Live event gate in South Carolina last night was the largest that they had there. Just everything that they've done from a business standpoint absolutely hit and clicked this week. Okay. And then you factor in the wrestling with, the performances by Rhea, by Liv, Gunther. You have the Roman, Sami Bloodline. Hell, the Roman and Sami chair shot interaction that had over I think it was up over 3.5 to 4 million views by Tuesday. The Logan Paul Ricochet spot was like,
sounds like a needle mover to me.
So I think for the week that was, I mean, they kind of showed out, puffed their chest out, and like Triple H said in the press conference afterwards, nobody on our level. And they backed up the talk this week. But like, here's our move on the chessboard, and whoever else wants to reply to it and respond, let's see what you got and make a move. So
he was not wrong whenever he said no one else can do what they do, because their presentation of stuff, like especially like for the Royal Rumble and what will be at WrestleMania, I don't know if there is anybody else out there that can do that. At least they don't put the money into it like WWE does.
Yeah, so Royal Rumble live gate was 7.7 million. Viewership was up over 52% from Peacock last year. Merch sales were up 135% from the Rumble last year. Sponsorship revenue up 200%. I mean, business-wise, like, kind of hard to argue those numbers.
We talked about
TK puts numbers out there all the time.
We talked about with the sale that we thought, WrestleMania could be a good time for, to showcase the company off. Maybe some buyers will go to that, and that could be like when something could happen. And Nick Khan was there this week and said, I'm seeing a deal within 3 months. And it's just like, what just happens to be around the 3-month mark? The buyers will go, they'll bring them all to WrestleMania, showcase it off, and be like, look what you could have every year. That's what's going to sell it.
I didn't see no hate for, The Rock wasn't there. Oh, Stone Cold wasn't there. Like,
Oh, you weren't paying attention to social media on Saturday night, then.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't see any. Like,
It
I was
there.
granted. I was at Dave and Buster's watching the pay-per-view at the bar at Dave and Buster's while my daughter and her friends were running around. But so yeah, I didn't catch any of that Saturday night. But no, I just like I said,
hate. But it's
kind of hard.
When isn't there hate?
Yeah, I mean, so when you factor in all the business side aspect and then what was done in the ring on screen, you know, Raw was entertaining. They had Cody come out. He cut his overly long-winded babyface promo and then stuck the dismount.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you could have saved 10 minutes and just landed at the dismount and it would have been the same effect. But you know, then they followed up.
That time we know who's winning that Mania.
They followed it up with Roman and Sami and everything they did on SmackDown last night. That was just tremendous and continued the story there.
That crowd?
No, there was a We Want Jay crowd. Is it Sami or is it Jay?
Well, that's the interesting thing. So where is Jay? Where's Jay? Where's the right-hand man? Where's he at? What happens?
Keep him off until Elimination Chamber.
Exactly.
Yes.
They got a tag match.
Keep him
2
off.
weeks. It's 2 weeks.
No.
Keep him off.
Keep him off. Don't even have him no show the tag match. Have him no show the tag match. They
the Pierce say, "Hey, we can't have this. We can't do this."
They forfeit the match. They don't lose the titles. They forfeit the match. Elimination Chamber. Jay comes back, turns on Sami, and the nuclear heat will be astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're off and running to KO and Sami versus the Usos at Mania.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's how you get it back.
Yep. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what I was thinking.
So,
and then at Mania, the Bloodline lose everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Now,
and then you have the fallout from that after Mania of the internal Bloodline, and
so when they closed Rumble, Roman was talking to Solo, saying, you know, we're at war now, Solo, like that type of deal. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, let's see where this goes. But then last night on SmackDown, Roman shows up, sends them to the bus, go get some fish, go get some steak, some salmon, some shrimp, eat up. I'm gonna go out to the ring by myself. What did Roman have on last night when he got in the middle of that ring?
That shirt was
Solo shirt.
Solo shirt with Heyman in the background, and it said, what did it say? Greatness.
Our title, greatness amongst you.
Greatness amongst you. Roman by himself. And I popped huge. I was like, this is tremendous. But it goes back into everything that we've been saying from the storyline to begin with. He's the boss. He's the master manipulator. He's the only one. He only cares about the one, and that one is him. So when this all comes crumbling down around him, it's going to be glorious to see the fall and what happens afterwards from it, because it's tremendous right now.
We're getting there right now, and that's what's making it interesting. Like, things are moving along now, and it's just like it's making for an interesting story now.
Speaking of things not moving along, they went back to LA Knight and Bray Wyatt last night.
Did they?
Well, see, if you read, there's going to be a Cinnamon Toast Crunch match at WrestleMania. So that is a real thing.
If it doesn't have New Day pouring the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Studios into a large bowl of milk.
What?
I mean, I thought LA Knight was dead after Saturday.
Well,
he didn't drown in the pitch black. That's the only problem. So.
I did see on social media, so the broadcast view of it didn't show the angle, but if you saw I don't know if it was a fan cam or if it was another TV shot that got out. I don't know why it would get out if it's WWE shooting it, but they showed like a floor view of it, and how he completely jumped off and missed LA Knight.
Oh, you could tell.
Oh, yeah, you knew
LA
that.
Knight rolled into it.
Oh yeah, you saw that. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You did see it?
100%
Okay.
saw that,
yeah. You
All right. So then,
I mean,
all
you ain't taking the elbow from that high.
Yeah.
Why not? You got to show off for Uncle Dave.
I don't know if he'll be back yet, Ty.
Jeez, oh man, we can't have that. But yeah, I don't like.
That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, that's all he did.
If you give me this aspect of Bray, like the lights out stuff, not in the ring, but like segments, I wouldn't be mad at it.
I saw who was it? Dutch Mantel on his podcast said, which a lot of people say, that the gimmicks and the character, he's the king of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody that can hold a candle to him. In the ring, bell to bell, he doesn't deliver at all.
I don't like
And he feels that performance Saturday night may have been a little bit, Triple H doesn't really buy into Bray the wrestler, because what are you gonna do to have to beat him now? Shoot him with a rocket launcher? Like we're like the Fiend was
evil.
Yeah, the Fiend was unbeatable, but like I have no idea what you do now. Like,
Or they calling him the Ultimate Warrior.
and we saw the face-off with him and Undertaker at Raw 30, but like Taker was the complete opposite. Yes, he was the king of gimmicks and supernatural and lightning bolts shooting out of the sky and coming back from being buried alive how many times and everything else. But bell to bell, he was one of the best workers there was in the company.
No, don't get me wrong. What Bray can do in there isn't awful. Like he's like, I don't watch his matches and go, he's the shits. He needs to go. Like it doesn't match with the character. He can do stuff. Like he's a decent big man in the ring. The matches just do need to be better. And I don't know if that's something he needs to work with the agents or what, but he can and they can do better with his matches.
What do you do with LA Knight from here? You got to get him away from Bray, right? Like he has to move on to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Considering how he stood out in the build to this match, like I don't want him to get settled down by having multiple matches with Bray, and then he's just like flatlines, and it's like, okay, what do you do now?
We'll be facing Riddick Moss next week.
Bugs is back.
Don't do that to him.
I don't know. This just kind of came to me. But what would you feel like if he went against Gunther? Like, for me, it's
LA Knight.
Yeah, LA Knight, because you got a guy that isn't a talker versus a talker, and a guy that is going to talk his way into the building, and a guy that's going to beat the shit out of you in the ring.
Those two work from the standpoint of Gunther would approach the promo as in, you just run your mouth. You're not a true professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
You don't respect the ring. And then LA Knight would hit him back with all the flashy, shit talk and everything else that he does. So promo wise, back and forth wise, I think it would work. In ring wise, I think it would work as well, because to me, LA Knight, formerly Eli Drake, to me, I think he's very underrated in the ring. Like, I don't think people give him enough credit because of how good he is on the mic for what he does in the ring. So to have him in there with Gunther and have them go back and forth and actually do some wrestling would help elevate him even more, to just get the stigma off him that he's only a talker.
And Gunther is strong enough to carry somebody that might not be at his level. But, there's nothing wrong with what LA Knight can do in the ring. But just like, he's not Gunther. And I think, the two of them could have, I think it could be something that could work.
So that's the Mount Rushmore for this week in pro wrestling. Obviously, if you listen to the show, you think we'd be WWE biased here, but kind of hard based off the week that was. Not saying that I hated everything else that was out there, because I did like stuff from AEW this week. Impact, there
just
was
the week that it was.
Yeah, I mean it happens. It's Rumble week. Like typically, those types of weeks are going to be hard to overshadow or stand out. But AEW was in the news again this week for the announcement of live house shows.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Jarrett talked about this on Jericho's podcast a couple weeks ago. In addition to him talking about the international markets that they were trying to get into, and we saw the deal get announced with DAZN to get in the 40 international markets now on a weekly basis for Dynamite and Rampage. Now they're going to start the house show tour instead of just doing Dynamite and Rampage to get them in some markets that they haven't been able to get into for a while.
Tony Khan stopped setting them, so we had to switch.
But AEW getting into the live show business. Plus, minus, where do you stand? I saw some videos of Dynamite this week, and I don't know exactly when they were taken. I believe it was like 10 minutes before showtime. And the arena looked very empty from one side of it. Ticket sales, I guess, have been up and down, depending on what sites and metrics you look at.
Where's it at? It's in Ohio. The first house show is in Ohio, right?
Correct.
It's a weird market to do your first house show there.
Moxley will bring them in.
I mean,
I don't know where they're holding it, so I don't know like how much, like if they're running a big arena, if it's going to be a smaller place. I'm not sure on those for sales, but
I think as a company, it's good for them. Now, I'm not sure if the talent is on board because that's more work days for them.
And will this affect the product on Wednesdays and Fridays?
I mean, I think they said the house shows are going to be optional for talent. So it'll be interesting to see what names they bring in, or do they bring in any other local talent for this?
That optional with an asterisk.
Probably. Yeah.
So it's,
if you're a champion, it's probably not optional, but
Troy, Ohio.
Yeah. Okay.
I see. There's both. I see both sides of the coin. Jay, you brought up like how will it impact, the TV product, this and that. Their roster for a lot of those individuals are still very green, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can get out there on the live event tour, work matches, work storyline, work character, learn how to work a TV style match to where you have 6 minutes, you go out there, you got to get your shit in and get off because of a commercial or whatever. Like, there's benefits to doing live house shows that roster can use to help get people more in ring time that aren't being used on Dynamite, Rampage, Dark, and Elevation, which you have 4 shows there and there's still talent that aren't being used. So it's kind of like, all right, what can we do to get these people out there? From a revenue standpoint, with travel costs being as high as they are and everything else, business-wise, I don't know if now's the best time to launch it. But I think we would have gotten this a little bit earlier than what we are if the pandemic never hit.
I'm kind of surprised that we're getting it when we're getting it, because rumor is that Ring of Honor is
I'm married for 12 years. That's pretty much the description that I go by.
Because the rumor right now is that Ring of Honor is going to start doing stuff at the end of February. They're going to tape the first set of tapings down in Orlando at the soundstage. So I'm kind of surprised that with Ring of Honor going on, Tony's going to be having to do that every few weeks. Why not focus on that first and then maybe get to house shows at some point? But I mean, they haven't said how often they're going to run these yet, or it doesn't look like it's going to be. They're hyping this one up as an event more than anything, more than a house show. So it doesn't seem like they're going to hype this like every week. They've done one. It seemed to do well down in Jacksonville. Whenever they did it, they taped it, for future streaming. Yeah, so
home base. So
you can't. It can't be like Dark Elevation and all that every week. You got to throw some stars in there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
And this past week on Dark and Elevation were good shows. You saw some people get on there that you normally don't see, and they've been doing good stuff on there with certain individuals. I just wish some of those individuals would get actual TV time, like Athena, for example, who's been killing it on Dark and Elevation with her character and story and everything else. I'd like to see her, Wednesday night and even Friday night, but to each his own from that standpoint. So
maybe they have an audience there that's consistent on the YouTube channels.
There definitely is a consistent audience for it. It's just like
he just tries to book the people that appeal to that audience. I agree with you. I think that I would like to see her on my screen. I don't watch the YouTube stuff.
And we talked about this before, but at some point you should be using those shows and those matches and that character development to see what's working and what's getting over, and then you bring those storylines to your main screen TV each week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're flip-flopping talent in and out, because we do see that there's talent that will come in, they'll do their run for a little bit on Dynamite or Rampage, and then they'll go away for a long time and you don't see them again. Well, if you're going to rotate it in based off of people that have elevated themselves and gotten over on Dark and Elevation with the live crowd there as well as viewership on YouTube, then you can see why the cycle would work, because you're bringing new people in, getting fresh, almost like how MLW does with their individuals pre-pandemic. They would bring people in, they'd sign them to a short term, they do their run, they do their storyline, and then they would leave and go elsewhere, and then maybe come back for a later run at a different point in time. So if you're going to use that type of mindset in cycle to get talent continuously to switch on TV, I'm okay with doing it that way, but they haven't done it to this point. So when is the change going to come, if there is even a change to be made based on that?
Even if they, like exactly what you're talking about, if they would do that and maybe even change it up, like, hey, this week it's on Dark or Elevation, and then next week it's on Dynamite, then the following week it's back on Dark or Elevation, and just constantly change it up. I might tune in a little bit more consistent to that stuff, because it's like, hey, if it clicks with me on Dynamite, I might want to go over and watch that. Yeah. But right now, there's too much wrestling that I don't have time for those shows.
So yeah, but from in-ring wise, I did enjoy AEW this week. Some stuff I didn't like, but I don't think anything stood out to where I would knock off one of the Mount Rushmores that we had listed. Now we could be wrong, and I know Pro would maybe feel differently, but if anybody else is out there has a different submission from AEW or any other promotion out there that should be on a Mount Rushmore, feel free to throw it in the comments, and we'll bring it up and discuss it. But
that can throw.
I said
with that could throw in my jabroni of the week, because it was AEW based. JAS with the Guevara and Garcia gauntlet. I mean, like, how many times are we going to go through these gauntlets with people? I mean, we're already doing one with Danielson, like legitly doing one right now with Danielson, and another one's about to start up next week.
I mean, it does feel like with I don't want to say a repeat of stories, but Danielson's doing that, which is very similar to what MJF had Jericho do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have this gauntlet, like you're seeing some stuff that's repetitive. Even MJF offering the money to everybody, like,
this is the new tournament,
in which MJF did it with Cody too. Had him run a little small one through Wardlow and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, how many gauntlets are we going to keep going with?
And then the straps, he had to get that afterwards too. Cody,
the lashes.
Yeah. The lashes, yeah.
That's not something you should bring up during Black History Month, Chris, but I mean, I'll digress.
They did it, not me.
But yeah, that's my jabroni of the week.
Okay. Jay, you got a jabroni of the week?
Mine is Moxley, man. Blading again.
Hey, they caught that boy clear as day. One of the worst blade jobs ever.
They tried to cut away and cut further back view.
They gave it a widescreen.
Like the time from when he took the bump, took another move, got in the ring, walked around, sat down, and then Blake, come on. I just fast forwarded that match.
That's what I do with Moxley all the time.
I was over it.
Like I'm over him getting blood in every single match.
Joe had a reason. Joe's
was hard way. That table to the face was nasty. Like, I'm surprised. My jabroni of the week could have been the freaking Wardlow re-debut, but I wasn't gonna put it on there because it just fell completely flat.
They need to finish up with that story.
I thought he was going to come back to his hair grew back.
Looked like he was off filming a movie.
Well, I mean, the female audience, long hair, short hair, they don't care. They just like War Daddy as goes on the internet. So, my man needs to do some calf raises, though. He got the smallest legs in pro wrestling. Gee, I get it's an upper body business, but
Brock's there too.
Jabroni of the week, nobody really stood out in pro wrestling wise to make me absolutely go, all right, you're the jabroni of the week. And other than that, I really don't have one. I kept to the positivity this week. I stayed away from the stupid nonsense BS that was out there with different things going on. Okay. Not just in and out of the world of pro wrestling. But if I had to pick one, and this definitely sounds like we're being WWE shills on this episode. AEW taglining the next Dynamite as championship, whatever title defense, whatever tagline they're using for it. You already have Battle of the Belts. It's the same damn concept.
Yeah.
The exact same concept. And not all the belts are being defended. You promoted the show as if all the belts are being defended, but two of the matchups are eliminator title matches, so the belts aren't on the line. If the person wins, then they get a title shot.
It's title adjacent.
Was it Cole who dropped the promo?
Was
it Cole who said it, or because when I seen the post about it and they had Cole's picture, I'm like, what does he have to do with it?
I don't know. It was I just saw the screenshot for whatever. Okay. I forget who it was, but yeah, they had the little tagline on there. And actually, I think I replied to somebody on Twitter about it, but yeah, it's just like, come on, dude. Not every Wednesday has to have a tagline. Just do your show.
That's it.
Because you're taking away from the quarterly events that you were supposed to have. I don't even know what's a quarter event now, because everything they do is an event.
Battle of the Belts is the quarterly event.
It don't feel
battle to retain. That we changed that. Remember?
You changed.
I think Pro definitely logged off. He's not coming.
3 out of the 4 AEW jabronis. He was done.
So, but yeah, if I was forced to pick, I would go with that. So,
I got a jabroni, but
okay.
It wasn't wrestling related this week.
That's fine. Jabroni of the week can be anybody or anything.
Yep. Hey, I was gonna say we've all had it. So it's tax season, right? So everybody's getting their W-2s and all that in the mail and getting all your paperwork ready so you can start doing your taxes. So the other day I got the mail was pretty much all tax stuff. That's all it was in there.
It had to be out by the 31st. So yeah you would have got it.
So was flipping through it. Okay, mine, whatever. And then one comes in there and I'm looking at it. And I was like, why is this one coming? Like, why are we getting something there? And I know we've talked about it a little bit on the show, but for those of you that don't know, my dad died in 2021. And I got, there was a W-2 for him for 2022. And I was just like, this doesn't make sense. Like, so I look at it and his job has that he worked a shift. So he made a total of $7.98 in 2022.
Are you kidding me?
No. And I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, listen, my dad liked his job. Don't get me wrong. Like, he enjoyed it. But I know he sure did go, let me get this one shift in. Like, let me go back for that one last shift. Like, really? Like I'm guessing it was probably a training or something, they just had him listed for and like didn't take him off. But it's like, you knew. They all knew.
Yeah. No.
So
No.
his job is my jabroni of the week for paying him in 2022 after he died in 2021.
And why are you even? How is that even reportable? Like it's $7.98.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you paying 37 cents in taxes for that shit? Like, what are we doing here?
IRS want everything.
I'm like, hey, where is that 720? I never saw it.
I don't know where the money went because I never got a pay stub in the mail for him.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that is. That's bad.
So as we said earlier, one of these marks was supposed to come up with a, game that we like to play at the end of Bell to Bell each week, whether, we have a debate this or what if, as we did with Donald a couple weeks ago, push Barry release. Giovanni. This guy.
God.
So Jay, as we were talking through this episode, did you come up with something, or are we just going to pass this week? And
I thought you were going to do the chair shot. It's just relevant.
I'm not doing your work. This is not a group project where you take my work and get credit for yourself.
I don't want the credit. You can have the credit. I
don't want the credit. I don't want the credit. No, we're going to skip that this week. Jason didn't do his job like usual.
This is my first time in this new format.
It's not your first time.
New format?
Not your first time.
Chris did his. I did mine. So we do the format.
This is my first time going.
We're a month into this format. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is my first time going.
A month.
This is my first time going.
Technically, his week was supposed to be Rumble week where we didn't have to do the format. So.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I'll cover your shift and not show up. Unbelievable. You were definitely that dude that skated on all group projects.
Oh, definitely.
All group projects.
I'm not even going to disagree with that.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up and get out of here for the week that was?
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
Nope. All right, let me just run through, double check real quick. Here we go. So, two quick things. And actually, I don't want to set this up. Well, no, I'll do it a different way. Wait, let me go back. So, for those of you that are on Twitter, in the wrestling community wise, and you follow certain people, I don't know if you know them or familiar with them, but the wrestling club.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are not familiar with them, but
everybody's wearing their hoodies these days, it seems.
Right. Great concept. Love the idea. It's and goddamn internet is not working right now to where I can pull it up so I can look at it. But anyways, the wrestling club is a group of kids at school that was started by a teacher, and they formed a club about pro wrestling, about wrestling. They watch matches, discuss stuff, everything else. They've picked up steam. They've gotten over on the internet. It's a great idea. Anything to bring kids and get kids engaged in whatever it is, whether it's, there we go. Thank you, Taekwon. I couldn't think of, yep. Victor Taylor Perry is the teacher. Awesome idea, awesome concept. Love it. Kids are fantastic. The excitement, the energy level that they bring whenever they put the clips out of them watching matches and shows, and it's really great. Well, one of the concepts that he had them do was to come up with their own promotion and then book a pay-per-view, right? They could draft any wrestlers they wanted from any promotion, make their own promotion, put a match together, everything else. One of the students stood out based off of their submission that they did, and as soon as I can get it to load, but basically, this student literally had to draft, booked his entire roster, booked a pay-per-view, gave storyline and stipulations for the matches on the pay-per-view, and then gave storyline for the pay-per-view itself afterwards, moving forward into the next event, right? It was tremendous. Like, if this pay-per-view would go on sale for $50, I would buy it. It was unbelievable what he did. So here we go. The promotion was called Fight for Glory, okay? And I'm not going to run through all the roster and everything else. I'll retweet it online. So if you want to look at what they had as far as the roster and who their champions were and everything else. But let me just rattle off these matches that this student came up with. So for the United States Championship match, he had Darby Allin versus Hook in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Hardcore Rules match, Red Velvet versus Rhea Ripley. Men's Tag Team Championship, the Young Bucks versus Bullet Club, Chris Bay and Jay White. Men's Singles match, Carl Fredericks versus Wheeler Yuta. Number 1 contenders match for the Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Steel Cage match, Samoa Joe versus Clark Connors. 2 out of 3 falls match, Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. Men's Heavyweight Championship match, Jon Moxley versus Roman Reigns. And then the main event of the pay-per-view would be the Women's Championship match, Jade Cargill versus Mercedes Moné. I'm buying that pay-per-view. Buying that pay-per-view. And then
this is like, I'm trying not to shit on this.
your boy had help. Dad was out there marking out for a minute, like, hey, you right here.
Wait, you think this isn't legit? Who knows? You don't think he came up with the submission?
How are these kids?
I want to say they're maybe in, I don't know, 5th, 6th grade, maybe.
Oh no 6th graders pulling no Chris Bay out the pocket.
But that club, they literally watch.
Oh, they do watch. Yeah, they do. Okay,
everything from all the promotions, and they go back into history and everything else. So it's not just current day product that they're watching. I mean, the match breakdown that they watch on a weekly basis gets sent out every week, and some of these matches, I'm like, damn, can I join the wrestling club? Like, I would love to sit there and watch these matches with them. Like,
Chris, don't say that, Ty. Chris, don't say that.
But shout out to them.
Do they meet every day? Like, do they watch wrestling after school every day, or is it like a once a week club?
It is I believe they do meet daily.
Okay. I was gonna say that's the only way you could watch everything.
Yeah. I wish we had that option as kids.
Yeah,
right?
It's
a great idea. Like,
and then doesn't what is it? Point Park? Not Point Park. Duquesne.
RMU.
RMU has a program.
Yeah.
Well, they can lead into that. It's a good start.
Like where like Stephanie McMahon comes in or like has dialed in and talked with them and everything. It's like I think she's still on the board too. But yeah, like that's crazy.
Yeah,
wasn't there whenever I went there, but
yeah. And they've had different wrestlers visit the class and everything else. Ospreay was on an interview with a hoodie on. Like, I love the awareness and the attention that they're getting because it's all for a positive message. Mm-hmm. And it's showing what really wrestling can do as far as engagement, excitement, and getting people to come together to just enjoy wrestling for wrestling's sake, because those kids love wrestling. It doesn't matter what product they're watching. They're not picking WWE over AEW or New Japan over Pro Wrestling Guerrilla or Rev Pro. You know what I mean? They're just enthralled and love watching wrestling. And the pop they gave when Cody won the Rumble was tremendous. Like, so I'm here for all them. Shout out to them. Shout out to Victor for starting that. Great idea, great concept. Kudos to you. Keep doing your thing with them kids and keeping them engaged. So awesome.
Yeah.
Up to your creativity and your imagination.
I think we'll see more of this because I guarantee every person that's in wrestling right now is probably, and like just what you said, Jason, wishes they had this whenever they were younger. And I think at some point, 20 years from now, when we're seeing that new generation of talent coming through, they'll all be talking about how their love for professional wrestling started in their wrestling club at school or in their community or something like that.
It'd be dope because go ahead, Donald.
I said, trust me, back then we booked a better event for WrestleMania 9 than what Vince gave us.
Very true. Very true. If anybody got anything else?
No.
Nope. All right. Thanks for tuning in to episode 121 of the Dumb Marks Podcast. Hit us up on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees, prowrestlingtees.com/DunmarksPod. We got the new shirt up there with the new logo. Appreciate you. Support the show. Give you a live shout out on air as always.
It's not just t-shirts.
That's very true. With that being said, quote of the week this week, positivity to leave y'all off with. Trying times are not the times to stop trying. Trying times are not the times to stop trying. And those words of wisdom were given to me while I was at work this week by a client interaction that I had. And I wrote it down on a sticky note and put it at my desk to get through the day as is. So it's the first thing I see when I get to work in the morning, and just remembers me to keep the perspective as we deal with the daily ins and outs, ups and downs of life in general. So with that being said, I'm a Mark, you're a Mark, tell a Mark, and until next time, y'all can catch us around the way.